we're all good, getting ready to go to bed. You're like, let me check my phone one more time. It's LinkedIn, LinkedIn's where my life is. My wife's in bed, you better come, but no, I gotta check out that LinkedIn. First post I see, there's this guy who's created this 50-step process, right? To be able to get rid of all these marketers. I'm like, oh my God, like I've run an agency of 30 people. What am I gonna do? Keep scrolling down and I have another post. And it talks about a student looking for a job and having a really hard time. Or a third post where someone's posting about an old marketing tactic from 10 years ago. It's like, hey, do they know what's going on? And that's kind of where we live right now. It's in between this crazy hype where do I need to blow everything up? Or is it just a bunch of craziness that I should push aside? And it's really hard. And imagine going to bed with that craziness in the brain. So today we're going to talk about AI without the hype building culture with Wins. As a child, I have some of the fondest memories of lying on the carpet, watching Star Trek The Next Generation with my brother, and therefore my first AI was data. So today we're going to add a little bit of Star Trek color, and hopefully people know what that is. So me, Danny Gavin, the chief founder and strategist of Optidge, I'm involved in education, the agency, as well as I've got a really cool podcast, and I have to thank all of the organizers so that the colors match my logo. It's so cool. So AI is more than hype, like I said, right? It's a fundamental shift how agencies think, work, and deliver results. Now, I'm coming from that agency perspective, but obviously you have businesses, there's education, all in the room, so we can take what we're learning today and apply it to us, but I'm going to show you the world as I see it from my glasses. So transformation doesn't happen overnight, right? Many agencies or businesses, they face resistance and don't know where to start, especially like when I started out, I had like 4 or 5 people in a room, Southwest Houston. Now I've got a team, like 40 people across the world, and to think that I've got to steer the ship and change it into AI, it's hectic, right? It's a lot of responsibility and a lot of stress. Our biggest hurdle for a lot of businesses is time, right? We just don't have time, and especially agencies. We build based off of time, or we look at what we're doing based off of time, and therefore, how do I create that space and that room for us to be able to start taking AI into it? It's my biggest, literally like a guy who's attacking time. Okay, so the trick is, it's not really about the AI, but it's cultivating a culture of AI and automation empowerment. It's less about the technologies, and it's more about the people, and us about the technology as well. So, we're going to quickly talk about 3 stages. This is a test that I did in quarter 2 at the agency in order to see, hey, how can we actually make some AI change movement in the organization? So the first step is building an AI positive culture and getting that buy-in. Second, finding practical quick wins that show immediate impact. And finally, scaling successful experiments into repeatable agency-wide systems. All fancy words, but we're going to get into it. All right, so let's talk about cultural framework. And you can see the screen has changed a little bit. There's like all these Trekkies there. That's weird. All right. So I want to start off. I went to a mini agency conference, 5 guys in Austin, run by Vince Gillard. He's a really cool guy. And the whole point of the conference is for me to sign up for his consulting for $10,000 a month at the end of it. So obviously that is not what I did, but I learned so many important lessons, and his book is really, really amazing. So or a lot of the inspiration that I had was actually from that one-day conference of how to approach this. So I definitely want to give him kudos, and anyone who has an agency, it's definitely a book that I recommend. So the first step that we have to do is culture win number 1. The better is better mindset. Quick wins don't have to be perfect wins. It's tough when you have a boss and he wants you to get things done correctly. There's scary. Oh my gosh, I've got to make sure that I'm going to do this AI process. It has to be perfect. But you know what's cool? No, we want to have psychological safety. We want to say, hey, it's okay. A 6 out of 10 is going to be totally fine. A great example is Grace, who's one of my AI rock stars at Optidge. She said, I want to create this system where I go into Slack, I type, we've got this new client, and automatically it does this research, creates a deck, and does all this cool stuff. And she could have made it happen, but it was hard. She tried it once, she tried it twice, tried it 3 times, and then she did it perfect. And therefore, did she give up? No. Okay, so I'm not able to get the most perfect AI masterpiece, but then she created a deep AI ChatGPT prompt which did deep research, which yes, you might have to every time go in and larger prompt, you have to look at the output, and then take that output, and then stick it into Gamma to create the deck. Yes, it's going to be a little bit more manual, but you know what? It still changed things a lot. So when you look at like the example deck, we can come into a client meeting with some deep research, kind of understand things ourselves, and you know what? When clients see this sort of deck, and it's not 100, we'll even tell them, hey, this was based off of our AI research, but it's a great talking point that we're able to say, hey, is this for your target market? These are some initial concepts that we can look at. And of course, we're not just going to go and slap it on and check everything, but imagine the time that it would take to do something like this by creating a couple processes. And because we lowered the bar to 6 out of 10, we can still go into a lot. The second cultural one is permission to experiment, right? Once I'm going to talk about psychological safety, but time and psychological safety are cultural words. And what that means is that I have to create the space for people to do this. So what do? We actually go ahead and we create an AI task force, bring people together, make it official. We are going to do this. Number two, in our actual project management software, we're going to create an AI plan and an AI space to track time and tell people, yes, go ahead and track time. And I need, at the agency level, to show people that billable work for clients and working on AI things is equal. And just like you track time here, you track time here. But we create that system where Optidge is safe. And I don't have to be the type of person where, oh my God, my boss gives me so much time that I have to go on the weekends and try to figure things out and do it in the dark, right? No, let's do it in the open and create that permission to do that. Finally, harnessing natural curiosity. Early adopters are the ones with accelerated goals. Now, yes, it is important for AI literacy for everyone, but I don't want to shove AI education and courses on the people who don't want it. Rather, let's find the people who are naturally pointed in that direction, and let's pull them together and come up with the ideas. They're going to be excited, and therefore it's not Danny Gavin coming top down, but rather it's those people. So imagine if you're sitting in the office and someone's sitting down and they're in a spreadsheet, and it's really, really difficult. One of those like AI rock stars can come by and say, hey, have you thought about maybe we could do something like this or that? That person who's in that spreadsheet who may never want to touch AI, rather, oh, that's a good idea, let's try that out. And therefore that can influence the whole organization. All right, so now that we kind of get the culture right, what is the playbook to get these playbooks? So, it's basically a 3 to 4 stage phase approach. Number 1, team members identify repetitive tasks in their departments and document the step-by-step process. Nothing to do with AI. Let's find those things that are a pain in the butt and it takes a lot of different steps. But what we do is document it. Take a document, write it all down. And in general, we know that in a lot of places, we don't have a process that's documented. But in this case, that's what we need to do. And just document. And you can start to come up, but these are some of the areas that we should look at first. Then, experimentation. The team was given about 4 weeks to experiment with tools and solutions for any of the tasks that identified. And we would have meetings bi-weekly to check in and see, hey, what's going on? How's it going? Do you need help? Some people were more of like the thought leaders, some were more of the technology, so they had to speak to each other and help each other out. And then finally, once they kind of figured it out, we review, refine it, and then share it across the company in general. So you can imagine that someone like Anwar Basha, who would manually take Google Click IDs from a spreadsheet or from an outside system and then put it into a spreadsheet and then stick it to Google Ads, it would take him 1.5 hours. Now that he's figured out a way to take Zapier, which is an automation platform, and to use certain AI prompts inside of it, and it cuts that down to 15 minutes, that's a huge win. So, some other examples of what came out of this. So for those people who don't know about Notebook LM, it's a tool that comes with Google Suite. I think there's a free version, but if you pay, you get more. And what we decided to do is we actually created one for every single client. And we connect all of our meeting notes and the brand guidelines. And therefore, really for each client, if I have a question, I don't have to go searching through the Google Drive and figure out what the answer is, but actually go there, ask the questions, get the answers. And you know what's cool? In agencies, we know that, sometimes an account manager has to be put somewhere else, or someone leaves, we add a new person on the team. We don't have to really worry about that transition anymore because we have the tools enabled to do that, which is amazing. And then obviously creating those AI cheat sheets as well on how to use this. These are a bunch of custom GPTs, but you know what? These babies, you just gotta get them out and do them because they can really do a lot of things. Ad script writing. We have a process of how we do it. Why not put it in there? Our client weekly summaries. So what we do is we take different information, whether it's like a Fathom script, drop it in there, and it makes it really easy to create that weekly email to update people. Now obviously we have to check, but you just have to remember that. A paid social proposal generator, a timeline builder, and then for my education side, I found myself reviewing resumes and marketing portfolios all the time, giving the same advice. Why do I need to do that anymore? Let's create the custom GPTs so that people are able to do it, right? So we talk about this, but it's, once again, it's these quick wins that you start to do them, you do more and more, and then before you know it, it's like, wow, we've actually done a lot. This is a personal favorite of mine to kind of give you like that inspiration. But this was me personally saying, hey, I have a lot of meetings, I do a whole bunch of stuff throughout the day. But I also get emails and I need to check them. But my problem is in between meetings, I'll sometimes get into the email, get lost, and then suddenly I'm late for the next meeting. So what I wanted to do is every single email that comes into Gmail, ChatGPT through Zapier, this is a Zapier flow, analyzes every single email as Gavin and buckets it into different buckets depending on the theme, and then also adds the priority of high, medium, and low. And therefore, in my Slack channel, I can see now really important emails that come through, and anything that's high priority, I actually get a text message on my phone, which is crazy, right? And this was just me late at night after going in that LinkedIn, like, oh shit, I better do something quickly, right? There, I was able to do this, but it's there, right? Once again, I looked at the process that was haunting me, and then now I figured out a way to solve it. So this is great. So we have the culture, we have the quick wins, but bottom line is, how do we actually transform the company? So, quick wins matter most when they become repeatable processes. We don't want these to stay like, Grace, she had this proposal with her, and she only used it, but she didn't tell everyone. We need to standardize them, bring them out to the forefront for every single one. Automation works best with quality checks and human oversight. Can't forget about that. It's really, really important. I was working on something yesterday and automatically thinking that I got the numbers right, and then I see, ooh, that's wrong. If I actually take this and minus that, it equals 3,000. Why are you showing me 2,000, right? We can't take any of this for granted, and we have to check. SOPs make tools easy to adopt and maintain. This is like a foundation for agency life, agency work, but having that standard operating procedure on how to use the tool and what to do, that's going to help people, right? It's not enough just to go ahead and have the tool, but you need to have the procedures as well in order to then get it out there. And then obviously we need an AI policy. We're doing so much AI, it's really important. And it was actually interesting. A couple months ago, there was a student from Texas Tech who was interviewing me for her thesis for her master's. She's like, so Dan, what's your AI policy? I'm like, I don't really know. But yeah, so the point is, yes, you need an AI policy, especially when you're starting to get everyone to use it. And so it's important to responsible guidelines for every department, every process, every tool, different importance. Some clients who are healthcare, right, you're going to be a little bit stricter. Others that are, the plumber down the street may not be such a big deal. And then finally, experiments involve into agency-wide reliable advantages. When you do all of this, you build it slowly, this is how it comes all together. And therefore, what I want you to go away with today is I want you this Sunday, hopefully get permission from your wife or spouse or husband, take an hour, right? And I want you to adopt this better mindset. Find that thing that's taking so much time and that I can make a change. And just start with documenting, right? And it doesn't need to be perfect. That 6 out of 10 is going to be totally fine in this situation. You want to amplify early give your team permission, right? Create those psychological safety so that they know they can work on this during work. Amplify those people who already want to do it, and then everyone will come along. And like I said, find those quick wins. So building the culture of quick wins is not about technology. It's really about empowering the people. We need to have those small victories, experiment, and that's going to bring you to advantage. It's not going to be that guy on LinkedIn who shows you this 50-step process, and that's how I'm going to change the world. We have to do it one step at a time in our businesses, because if we don't, it's just never going to happen. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it one more time to Timmy Gavin.